Hello everyone, I'm Joanne Amaya and welcome to another episode of Woman Rising TV. Today we're going to do something that we've never done before. We are going to do a live ritual. So usually when I come to you for our videos, it's me sharing and talking about a theme and a topic and giving you some tangible content. And today we're going to actually try to do a ritual for the winter solstice through video. And I'd love to hear your feedback if this feels good for you after you do it, if you prefer to listen to an audio, how all of this is working, because it's all an experiment and I'm totally open to offering to you whatever is in your highest good for your healing. So today is the winter solstice for those of us in the northern hemisphere, and it's a really potent time. It's the turning of the wheel of life, the turning of the seasons, and it's really the day in which we have gotten the word holiday. It was such a holy day, honored and revered for so long, and now it's sort of bypassed because of Christmas and Hanukkah and Kwanzaa and all these other things, but it's really such a potent time of year. And so for those of you who are wanting to dive deeper into really living your life in accordance, in expression of the seasons, of Mother Earth, of the cosmos, this is a really important day for you. And so the winter solstice is the shortest time of daylight and the longest time of dark. And so on this day, we really celebrate our own dark. We celebrate our own shadows. We celebrate a lot of the places that aren't comfortable for us to actually sit and explore and to feel. And what I will say is that our dark parts of ourselves, those that we hide from other people or even from ourselves, our shame and our guilt and our grief and our sorrow and all of these things that we think of as darker emotions, these are actually, when we feel these things, we actually allow ourselves to have deep healing. When we bypass them, when we create the illusion that life is perfect and I have to be happy all the time and everything is good, we end up missing out on some really deep healing that our souls are craving. So the winter solstice is really this time of honoring the dark, honoring our own dark, and remembering the light. So after tonight, the days start to get just a touch longer with light. And so even though we're moving into the season of winter, which actually has that kind of more internal space, we are actually moving until the summer solstice into more light. And so for those of you who are in the southern hemisphere, although you're experiencing something completely different energetically, you're experiencing the summer solstice and outward and play and joy and delight, and these practices and this ritual that we're actually going to do today are really potent for any time of your life that you want to honor your dark, your story, your wounds, so that you can also let the light back in. So we know that no matter where you live, we are women really holding this sacred wheel of life, that we need those of you in the southern hemisphere anchoring the light today, and we need those of us in the northern hemisphere really anchoring the dark, and these two creating this balance of light and dark that we need. We can't exist without one another. We can't exist without either of those energies. So this is my offering to you and to all of us today for our own healing, for our own growth, for our own really embrace of all parts of ourselves. And so we're going to be doing a ritual, and what I would ask for you to have, and if you need to pause the recording at any time to get this, I'd love for you to have a candle. I'd love for you to have your journal or some sort of paper, pen, pencil, your favorite writing tool, and some sort of shawl. So today I brought a black shawl. if you have a dark shawl like black or gray, but really any shawl will do. And part of why I want you to have a shawl is because, right now it's daylight where I am, and we're doing this ceremony and ritual, and sometimes it's really nice to just have some sort of head covering so that you can really go inward, especially if it is daylight as you're doing this. And so again, even though today, December 21st, is the winter solstice, we'll still be in the energies for another 24 to 48 hours. So you can do this on the 22nd or the 23rd. But the shawl can help if you tend to be a person who gets distracted. This can just help to create the space for you to dive inward, for you to dive into the mystery of your own emotions. And as women, we are the portal of the divine feminine. When we are in our lunar energies, we can allow our emotions to completely run through us. And that's what this ritual is going to ask us to do, is to really surrender to the emotions that are present for you. And I know for myself and for so many women that I've been talking to over the last 7 to 10 days, there's been a lot of emotions present. So you might have been feeling, and you still may feel, really tender in your heart. You may be feeling grief or sorrow. You may be feeling anger and betrayal. You may be feeling shame or guilt. You may be feeling deep heartache. Just know that if you're feeling all these things, you are not alone. So many women, myself included, have been feeling the full range of emotions. And again, going back to this piece that we are this feminine portal, it's really important that we actually feel these feelings. In our society, we often learn to shove them away or ignore them or deal with them another time. But this is really, especially the winter solstice, but actually in every day, we want to really allow these emotions to come forward. That even though they're uncomfortable or they're painful, they're meant to be felt. And if you ever struggle with actually feeling them or staying in them, there's so many flower essences that you can use. And if you've watched my videos, you know that I always talk about flower essences. So please make sure to go to our website, joannameacohen.com. We'll put a link on the bottom of the video, and there's so much information about different flower essences that you can use right now. Again, not to bypass the emotions that you're feeling, but to really help you to feel them fully, and ultimately to release the wounds, the pains, the traumas of the past that are really kind of facilitating some of these feelings in the present moment. So again, you can read all about flower essences, and there's so many different things that we can do for ourselves to help us to heal and to claim our dark and remember our light. And whether it's flower essences or being with other women and creating sisterhood or doing ceremony and ritual. Ritual basically anchors and creates significance in our life. That's what ritual does. It's like truest form of medicine, is that so much of the time we're busy and we're going and we're doing all these things and we don't have quiet, we don't have internal space, and so ritual helps us to create significance and intention. So our intention for today is to unite in global sisterhood, to come together as women knowing that we're all working on very similar things in our lives. They may happen at different times, they may have different stories and different characters in our stories, but ultimately we're all really coming back into a place of wanting to live our truest heart, wanting to live our truest essence, wanting to be the keeper of our own life. So, with all that said, I'm going to get my shawl back on, and I'm actually going to move out this wire that I keep seeing. That doesn't look very nice here. Okay, so you have your candle or more. You have your journal, your pen, perhaps a shawl. So this is my altar that I created for today. And actually, many of these sacred objects and goddesses and tools have been sitting here as I've sit at my altar. And so we have these three goddesses. We have Isis, we have Danu, who's the mother of the Celts, and we really have Mother Earth, Mama Gaia. And you can have anything on your altar. These are the goddesses that I choose who are really working through me and with me right now to remember my own light, to remember my own truth, to help me as I walk this last trimester of my pregnancy into motherhood. I have some sacred waters from Avalon that were given to me by my teacher and that carry that lineage of the priestess, of the feminine, sacred crystals that I use, and of course some beautiful flowers, as I love flower remedies and plant medicines and Mother Earth and want to honor her in any way I can. So you can have an altar for this practice. You can sit at an altar that you've already created, or you can just sit and be. So some of this is going to be you listening to me talk. Our eyes are going to be closed. Sometimes we're going to open our eyes to do some journaling, but ultimately remembering that we're all doing this together. So with that said, I am going to light our candles. And you may do so at this time as well, lighting your candle. And the fire of a candle, the element of fire is all about connection. It's all about pleasure. And so when we think about sitting around a sacred fire, we think about sharing stories and laughing and connection. And that's what the element of fire provides to us. So as you light your candle, really imagining that you're coming into circle with so many other women who are also on the path of their own internal healing, who are also on the path of the planetary healing, and remembering that we're coming together in unification for a greater cause. So as we light our candles, connecting us through technology into this global sisterhood, anchoring in the center of our ceremony for today. Oh, we have beautiful Isis again behind us, really holding the space of all that's holy, all that's feminine, and all that helps us to heal. So I'm going to ask you now to get really comfortable. You can be, again, sitting at your altar. You can be lying down, just getting really comfortable for this experience. And I have my rattle. Usually I use my drum, but feeling the call of the rattle today. And as you come into your own space, whenever you get comfortable, we're all just going to simply close our eyes. And as you close your eyes, knowing that you're going into your internal realms, your dark, and feeling what this feels like. Does it feel comfortable? Does it feel scary? Without judgment, just really presencing how you feel when you close your eyes and you are left to your own internal space, to your quiet. And so to create our potent circle, we are now going to call on the directions. And so we call on you, Spirit of the East, to be with us, to remind us that every day is new, that the light will shine into every crack, that we are here as women, as revolutionaries, as leaders, learning every single day how to own every aspect of who we are. And so we welcome in the greatest feminine mystery of newness, of new beginnings, and allowing all of this to come forward. We call on the plants and the spirits of the East to join us now. We welcome you. Aho. And if you feel, you can turn to the direction of South, and we call on you, Spirit of the South, to bring your energies of connection, to remind us that we are weaving constantly in sacred sisterhood, that as our hearts are activated and ignited in love, so too are all of those we surround ourselves with, all of those whose paths we have crossed in person, and all of those we have yet to meet, that we get to dance the dream of the goddess through your passion and through your fiery realms. We get to burn away that which no longer serves us. So we call on the plants and the animal spirits of the South to come and be here with us and to shower your grace with us at this time. We welcome you, Spirit of the South. Oh. And we turn to face the west, the place of the holy waters, the place where the feminine flows, our emotions flow, our water flows, the darkness of who we are, our tenderness, our wounds, our pains. We allow these to flow. And we know that as the tears fall, as we feel each feeling, we are given another day. We will be given another opportunity. And so we call on the plants and the animal spirits of the West to join this circle, to hold us and protect us as we navigate the watery realms of the feminine, of our dark and our light. We welcome you, Spirit of the West. And then we face to the north. And for you, the Spirit of the North, we call on you at this time in great, great delight, because you really are the reflection of the winter solstice today. And so we call on our ancestors. We call on those who have walked this path before us. We call on the cold and the internal, asking us to come into our own cold internal realms, giving us space to get quiet, to heal. And we remember that we are the answer to our ancestors' prayers, that we get to walk their holy path, that we get to live our lives because they have walked and they have lived. We are the answers to our ancestors' prayers, and so we bow to you, Spirit of the North, as we enter your season. For those of us in the Northern Hemisphere, we enter winter. And we ask for you to bring your plants and animal spirits to guide us during this sacred time. We welcome you, Spirit of the North. And so we call on these sacred energies to hold the container for us to guide into this ritual today, this temple space. And at this time, I invite you to call on any of your guides, any of your teachers, asking them to be present with all of us. And of course, we call on all of our sisters who sit in circle with us, whose hands we hold, those we have met or not met, knowing that we are all on this journey together, that we need each other to rise so that we can heal. So we bow to all the women that are seated with us in circle. And we make space for more and more women to come forward who are walking their path of healing. And at this time, during this darkest day, we call on peace on earth. So we feel into the devastation and the fears and the destruction that are being inflicted onto Mother Earth and also to the children and to the women and the men. That the violence, that the desecration, that the torture that lives in the dark is finally released as we step into the light. And so presencing all of those who don't have a voice today, who don't have the same freedoms, presencing them in our circle and asking for the light to come forward on this planet for peace and healing. And then setting the intention for our circle today, that we feel and we claim our dark. And through that we make space for our light. So reminding yourself of our holy intention to feel and claim your own dark and remember and create space for your light. So our circle is now rooted, is held, and we are clear on our intention. So taking a couple deep breaths here. Placing your right hand over your heart space. Your left hand over your womb space. Connecting your heart and the feminine love and receptivity. Softening intuition. Just feeling into what is present for you at this time. Again, as I said earlier, no judgment here, just seeing what's present in your own body in this very moment, during this potent, holy day. And taking 2 more deep breaths here. And when you feel ready, just very gently, very slowly opening your eyes, coming back into the room that you're in, the space that you're in, kind of looking around, getting yourself reacquainted, looking at your candle, remembering that you are the light, and the only way we can acknowledge our light is to also see our dark. So when you're back, I'm going to ask you to take out your journal, your pen. I'm also going to ask you, if you haven't already, to put your shawl on. Again, to kind of just hold this space of your internal, to block out all of these other pieces of distraction and to help you come into the mystery of your own emotions. Remembering that the mystery is the place where so much happens and is transformed and is birthed. And so we really want to stay in this space of our own center and our own self. So I'm going to ask you in your journal right now to write down a couple things, a couple dark emotions, dark feelings, that you're feeling. And when I say dark, I guess I'm just also referring to, it doesn't have to be like deep, intensity. It can also just mean something that's opposite to joy. So again, that could be grief or sorrow or tenderness or anger, but really these things that we tend to avoid, or these things that we even tend to not share with others for fear of being judged or for any sort of fears. And so I'd love for you to just write down some things that you're feeling right now, some darker emotions. Again, this can mean something opposite from joy. So this could mean some shame that you're feeling around the way that you spoke to your partner last night. Or this could be some sorrow or heartache that you're feeling because you were hoping to get a job and you went for an interview and you didn't get it. And so not only are you feeling shame, but you're also feeling anger and self-worth issues are coming up. Or this could be about some guilt that you're feeling in how you've been caretaking your own body. So anything that's really present for you. And if you're unclear, again, the best thing to do is place one hand on your heart, one hand over your womb space, and just quiet your mind, take some breaths, and see what's present for you here. There's so much that percolates in our bodies all the time that we have learned to bypass and not necessarily always listen to. So sometimes just closing our eyes, asking, what's present? What am I present to? So I'm going to give some quiet couple minutes for you to just take space and really write down these things that are present for you, that feel darker, that feel full of shame or guilt or self-judgment or self-hatred or self-deprecation or any of those things that we all feel at different times in our lives. So knowing that you're not alone, knowing that, yes, we are asking you to get really vulnerable with yourself. This is not for you to share with anyone else. This is for your own healing. And what's on the other side of vulnerability is true emotional freedom. And there is nothing in the world like experiencing you separate from your childhood, your parents, society's conditionings, just really your truest essence. So I'll just get quiet for a moment as you write in your journal. And again, the more vulnerable you can get, the more honest you get with yourself, the greater result you get in your own healing. And so you can pause the video at any point so that you don't hear me speaking and you have lots of quiet space. You could write for 5 minutes or 25 minutes, depending on what works for you. You know, sometimes just moving the energy through your written word can be really helpful in claiming and owning this dark piece. So these dark pieces of you don't make you less than, they actually make you human and beautiful, and they're also the avenue, as I said before, for your greatest growth and liberation. I can only speak from experience from this and know that when we dive into the darkness, that's the place that the light can be revealed. So when we hold on to all of these emotions, we actually don't create space in our being for the light to come in. And so when we feel them, and then when we ultimately release them, we allow the light to come back in. There's space for the light to grow and cultivate. And remembering that these dark pieces of you, these emotions, these beliefs, they all have a story. They all come from somewhere. And it's important that we honor that because they've made you the woman that you are today. And then you get to decide if you want to continue to hold on to them. It's a really potent and empowering practice. So once you finish writing all of these kind of darker emotions, feelings, and you can do this after we complete, I'm going to ask, or during, again, you can pause the video at any time. That's the beautiful part of technology. You can choose what you want to do with this piece of paper. So I have a couple different options for you. Sometimes it's really nice to move your body because you kind of just churned up and stirred the pot of your emotions. And so if you like to move your body, I would say like turn on some kind of angsty, dark music and move your body. And when I say move your body, I don't mean like, you know, you're grooving to it and it all feels really good. The intention is actually to help move some of these darker feelings out. So it might be kind of like weird movements that you're making. It's like you're helping your body temple to move these energies out, because when we hold them and suppress them, they actually cause symptoms in our bodies. So this music is about really kind of raging it out of yourself. So if you find yourself kind of grooving and getting into it and you're having fun, bringing yourself back into the intention of actually moving these energies out of the body temple. So not just, you know, having these feelings in your head, but knowing that all of this also lives in your body. So you can do some things like that. You can also burn the paper that this was written on, or you can bury the paper. I've done both. I really like both. If you bury the piece of paper, just make sure you kind of dig it deep enough so that if you live in a place where there's going to be lots of rains during the winter, it's not like the first topsoil comes up and your paper is revealed. And like really put it into the earth and offer it. Really offer it to Mother Earth. Ask her to help you, that you're feeling these feelings and you're ready to let go of them. Give them to her. She can transform anything. So this is a beautiful thing of being in relationship and asking her to really take this from you, to bury it in her soil and allow it to grow new seeds of light. And then you can also take the piece of paper that you have, that you've written all of your most vulnerable thoughts, and you can burn it. So again, if you have a fireplace or a fire pit outside, or if you don't have either of those, you can take some sort of cauldron and burn your paper, and just make sure you put the paper in the cauldron so that you're not creating fires. And that can be really beautiful. And again, with your intention of, I offer these words, I feel these words, I'm owning these words, not bypassing them, and I'm also ready to release them. These are all really, really incredible because we're also with the winter solstice right now. We're also, the moon is in Taurus. And so for today, and Taurus is about like really grounding yourself, really feeling rooted, really feeling all of your emotions, connecting to Mother Earth. So we want to use the energies of the moon. So the invitation is for you to really feel fully. And I know this can be uncomfortable. I know we want to run from uncomfortability and pain and heartache and tenderness and sorrow and all of these things, betrayals. But the moon is actually asking you to feel so fully and to anchor this in so that you create great healing in yourself. So again, it might be really beautiful for you to bury this in Mother Earth because the moon is in Taurus, which is an earth sign, and really asking her, take this from me, take this from me, absorb this, transmute this, and then let's cultivate and seed something new. So you're going to do that piece either later tonight or right after this. And then what I'd like for you to do to continue your ritual is to also think about these things that you're releasing, these darker emotions. Tomorrow, the days actually get longer. So just like we have like a touch more light every single day until the summer solstice, which is our longest day of light and our shortest amount of dark. So thinking about this that you're releasing, whether you're burning it, whether you're giving it to Mother Earth, and then I want you to write down with what you're feeling in this moment, the grief, the sorrow, the rage, the betrayal, the self-judgment, the self-doubt, all of those really intense, murky, dark feelings that we don't always like to honor as our truth. I would love for you to then write down through that lens what you're calling in, what you're asking the light to do for you over these next 6 months as we journey to the fullness of light. So if you had written down that you're feeling shame on how you spoke to your partner last night, as I just used when we were first starting to write, then possibly the intention of the light is that you speak to your partner from a place of love. And yes, that may not happen in every moment, but your intention is to bring the light in so that when you speak to the person you love, you're coming from a place of love rather than reaction or shaming another person or whatever the story or situation was. The light piece is that you're choosing to speak from love, and that you will catch yourself when you're speaking from reaction. So again, this is going to go with whatever you wrote down as more of your shadowy emotions, that there's also a light piece that comes forward. And so this piece, you can do a couple things, is you can write it out and you can place it on your altar so that you sit and you read it every day and you're reminded of your intention of the light growing stronger inside of you. You can, again, plant it, give it to Mother Earth, say, this is what I'm intending. These are the seeds I'm planting. You can dance it out again, so put on your favorite song that reminds you of your light and you dance this expression of your love to your partner. These are just a couple different things, but it's really important during this ritual that we start with these intense, darker places and that we seal it all with the light, because that's exactly what's happening in nature, is that starting tomorrow, the light returns. And so we're using the energy because we are that energy. We are just a reflection in human form of nature, and we're using that. So we're in the dark right now. you know that you can dance it out, burn your paper, plant your paper, and then you sit down when that piece is complete and you write down all of your light. You can dance your light, you can again offer it to Mother Earth, you can put it on your altar to remind you. So in this place, again, I want to give you lots of time to do your dance or burn your paper, plant it, and then move into the light. But because we're also in sacred ceremony right now, I just want you to look at the piece of paper that you just wrote. Some of your darker emotions, beliefs, thoughts, feelings about yourself, about the world. And then I want you to look at that and think about what it is that you want to, how you want the light to shine through you. So how you want to shift these thoughts, these beliefs, these feelings, how you want to live your light starting tomorrow and growing and growing and growing over these next 6 months. So again, you can pause me here and give yourself some time to write, taking this piece that you're working on, owning your dark, and then remembering that same piece through light. And this is where we create the whole. This is where we own the dark and the light, for they cannot live separate. They can't live without one another. Just like we can't have joy without grief, we can't have light without dark. So we own our dark so that we may remember our light. So writing down how you want to live your light. And then again, you can pause this to have as much time as you want. And then after our ritual completes, you will dance, you will place this on your altar, you will plant it to Mother Earth, so that you constantly have the unseen realms of spirit. You have your human realm of your altar, all conspiring for you to be and live this intention, for you to transmute your dark into your light. And because this is a holy day, I'm going to ask us to put aside our papers. Again, you can complete all of this later. I'm just going to ask you again to close your eyes, to come back into your heart and your womb space, to be anchored in this body that the goddess has gifted to you, your eyes that the goddess has gifted to you, your voice that the goddess has gifted to you. Closing your eyes and breathing in your holiness, your divinity, your perfection, whether it's being in the dark or it's being in the light. And taking a moment to give yourself thanks for showing up during this solstice time, for doing your own healing, for taking your place on this sacred wheel of life and in this sacred sisterhood. For we need all of us to be doing this work in order to transform our own lives and this planet. So bowing to yourself, putting your head, your chin close to your chest, and really bowing to yourself, giving yourself love for feeling your dark, for being honest, for being vulnerable. for showing up, for creating space in your life for this ritual. Vowing to yourself that you are on the path that has been gifted to you by your ancestors. That you are showing up fully for your own personal growth, which in my opinion makes you a leader, makes you a sacred feminine leader. And as you sit here in reverence of your own self, imagining a woman to the left of you and a woman to the right of you in circle, partaking in the same exact practices as you just did, and knowing that we are really interwoven, that we are weaving a tapestry of our greatest unfoldment, that we are changing the course of our own lives, the trajectory, so that we may actually walk the path that we were gifted. Not that's been assumed or conditioned, but that we've actually been gifted by the divine. And so again, bowing to your sisters who are also journeying with you for their heart's work, for their deep devotion to themselves. Knowing that we each get to be a reflection, a mirror of one another. And opening your eyes once again and turning towards your candle. Knowing that you are walking towards that light, but it can only happen when you embrace your dark. And with your hands, with your palms open, in front of your candle, just moving some of that light onto you. So just giving yourself the showering of this light. And putting it all over your body, so over your crown and down your face. And doing it a couple times to your chest and your arms, to your belly, your hips and your pelvis, and down your legs to your toes, just showering yourself in this light that you're walking into, but that you can only recognize by first feeling the dark. And taking a moment to just savor in the simplicity of being showered by light. And so as we come to completion, again, you have more to complete on your own, but as we come to completion from our circle today, we offer again our gratitude to all the directions, the east, south, west, and north, to all the spirit guides and teachers that we ask to hold this sacred space. We give thanks and gratitude, and we release you with our greatest love at this time, knowing that our circle is open but never unbroken. We are walking this path as empowered women, remembering the ways of the feminine, living as moon priestesses. We are walking this path together, and together we are claiming our dark so that we may ultimately be showered with our light. So I'm sending you a tremendous amount of love from my heart, celebrating this winter solstice, celebrating the summer solstice for our sisters in the southern hemisphere. kissing you, bowing down to you in really awe as you walk your sacred path and as you commit to walking through what's comfortable, what's uncomfortable. And I send so many blessings for this solstice time, for this new season, and for all of us holding our sacred place on this wheel of life. So much love, so much gratitude. Mwah, mwah, mwah. Blessings to you, and we will see you on another episode of Woman Rising TV. All love. Peace.